All right, Stephen Fonte, Jordan Capozzi with you here on a Tuesday edition of Orange Nation. No Paulie Sibilia. Hoping to get Paulie back tomorrow. We've got a few guests lined up for you today. Again, Aaron Solomon coming up in hour number 2. We'll hear from John Wildhack at the top of hour number 2. But first, let's get to our guest line right now. If you happen to be watching us at QSportsTalk.com, you see our first guest live and in person. Pleased to be joined by Ryan Blackwell, head coach of Boeheim's Army this summer. Ryan, always great to catch up with you. How are you today?
Good, Steve. How you doing? Where's Paul? Is he on the golf course?
Paulie is out today,
Okay.
Unexpectedly, but we do hope to get him back tomorrow. Hopefully he's doing something fun.
Yeah.
Maybe walking Indy. You know how much he loves walking his dog. All right, so tell us how you ended up back in the main chair this summer. We've seen Coach Pope the last couple of summers. Now you're back as head coach of Boeheim's Army. What brought you back?
Yeah, just Sean Belby, the GM, reached out to me, and obviously it's right in our backyard. We're one of the 8 regional sites, so it's always a fun, exciting time. Not much going on during the summer as far as basketball wise, and it's just a competitive brand that I've enjoyed being a part of the last 7 or 8 years.
All right, so I guess let's talk about this roster a little bit. About half the guys are Cuse guys, half the guys aren't. What stands out to you about this roster that you guys have put together?
I think the biggest asset for us is that we have 5 or 6 guys that have, won a championship already. Chris McCullough, Andrew White, DeAndre Kane won it with Overseas Elite 4 times and 1 time with us. Jamil Wilson, Dwight Bikes. They've all been a part of championship teams, so that helps to have that experience. And then, throwing Jimmy Boeheim and Matt Morgan and B.J. Johnson and Raheem Christmas, they were on our team a couple times the last several years. So a lot of guys with experience.
How much does that experience matter, especially in a tournament like this, Ryan? Because, I know it's fun, first and foremost. I know you guys have fun, but it's also very competitive. And there is a lot of pressure because it's a one-and-done format, and, it's a winner-take-all type format. So how much does that experience matter that you've got guys who, they're familiar with the Elam ending, they're familiar with the physicality that comes with this tournament, the competition, the level of competition they're going to be facing? I would imagine having the experience is quite important.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a different format. When you add the Elam ending, the games are shorter. And when you get to that fourth quarter, you have to kind of strategically factor in that, the ending, the way it's going to end. And having guys that have been there and done that. I mean, all these guys are seasoned veterans for the most part. They play overseas. Some of them play in the NBA. They play in the top leagues in Europe and in Asia and in South America. So these guys it's a great brand of basketball, a lot of talent and very competitive. Obviously, like you said, it's fun and there's a lot of money on the line. These guys want to win.
When you look at this roster, several of these guys we are familiar with. There are a few that Cuse fans probably aren't. What can you tell us about Grant Riller? He's one of the newcomers to this roster. Played at College of Charleston. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, so that's Sean Belby. Reached out to him and found him. I looked at him a little bit on film. It'd be interesting, obviously, once we get into practice to be able to really see what he can bring to the table. But like I said, the entire roster, we have a little bit of everything. From the past where I've been involved and seen the teams that have won it, it's your guards and your wings that are going to get the job done for you. It's really not a big man's league or tournament. So I think we have overall guys that can get it done. We have shooting. We have guys that can lock down on the defensive end. You throw in Pascal for defensive purposes and rebounding and guarding the rim, shot blocking. So that'd be a nice little element that we've added to our roster.
Coach Blackwell, this is a Jordan here. I'm like mini Paulie, so you'll kind of get your fix of Paulie. You mentioned that Sean Belby kind of reached out to Grant, and I'm sure there are others. Between the lack of time you guys have to prepare together and that sort of element where you're not picking every guy on your roster, how does that change your job being the coach of the team? Like, how is this different from coaching at like Liverpool?
Well, like Liverpool, I have an established relationship with a lot of guys. We have a training camp. We have summer camp and programs that we've built over several years. So when you're getting guys for 3 or 4 days, The biggest thing is that they understand the game, and everything that we throw at them, they'll absorb pretty quickly because they're veterans, and a lot of them have been playing for 7, 8 years, maybe overseas. So they understand what's at stake. And like you said, it's basketball is basketball, and talent is talent. So once we get the guys in there for 3 or 4 days, the biggest thing for us, like I said, is we have guys that have played in this tournament the last several years and have won, and that helps. So that's going to make my job a lot easier.
All right, so you guys start things up. It's just about a month from now. July 24th is when this thing all gets underway down at the War Memorial. So with that being said, you said you get these guys for a few days. What can we expect in terms of how many practices will you get in? When will the guys start arriving in Syracuse? And I guess how challenging is it to bring a team together in such a short period of time? Some of these guys know each other, some of them don't. Yeah,
I'm thinking probably around the first week. We normally do 3 or 4 days before the first game. So the first third week in July, around the 20th, 21st, we'll start getting the guys in. Probably do 2 a days. In the morning, we usually do a practice or shooting session. And then in the afternoon or evening, we'll get another session in. So within that 3 or 4 days, we'll probably get hopefully about 8 or 9 sessions where we're all together and getting on the same page. And like I said, it's an exciting time. They're taking time out of their busy schedule. Some of these guys are really just getting back from overseas. Some guys are actually still over there playing. So they're probably tired. They want to see their families. They want to, spend time with their friends and kind of relax and maybe go on a vacation. But, there's a chance to win money. And so these guys, take their time out of their busy schedule to come here and try to win.
How do you go about scouting potential opponents? Because you'll see your path, you'll see who the potential matchups are against. Do you find yourself and your staff are you guys looking to individual players, or because this isn't like these teams. Generally speaking, these teams haven't played together in the past. Maybe in past TBTs they have.
Yeah.
But how do you go about scouting and preparing for future opponents?
Yeah, so I think again, we look at who we're playing against. If we played them in the past, if there's film from maybe last year. Individually on the players and as the team, maybe certain things that they run, let's say blue collar, we've seen the last couple of years, or another team. And then individually, we'll watch a game. We make sure we watch games, and Sean does a good job of breaking down film. And then we'll watch whatever team plays and whatever team we're geared to play the next game. We'll go watch film and break down individually and as a team, whoever the opponent is.
Ryan Blackwell joining us here on Orange Nation for another couple of minutes. And, Ryan, you mentioned experience matters. How much does having the first several games in Syracuse matter, and having, a dedicated fan base behind you cheering on the team? Do we make too much of that out in the media, or does that actually help you guys?
No, I think it helps. Obviously, having, people that support us, having that energy in the building. But the thing is, the last 2 years that we've had the regional here, we haven't made it out. We've lost. I think last year we lost the second game. The first year was here at OCC 2 years ago. I think we lost to a team from Philly, Brotherly Love. And so we haven't gotten out of this regional while it's been in Syracuse. So that's something, we're going to have to really focus in on. Blue Collar U is in our regional, and obviously they won it last year. They're going to be a tough out. So it's not going to be easy regardless of having the fans, which is it's very exciting for us. And we want that energy, but it's not going to be easy.
You mentioned you've been a part of this for a while now. What does it take to go on a run and to win the $1 million first place prize, in terms of what's the recipe for success, for not necessarily for your team, but any team to make a run deep in this tournament?
Yeah, I just think you got to have guys that are just bought in with right away, that know what it takes to win. Right away, you have to have guards and wings that can just make plays and are tough defensively, tough-minded. I just think about DeAndre Kane. He's won 5 championships in the TBT, 4 or 5 championships. That's crazy. And DJ Kinney, when he played, he won 6. And having those guys is just that type of recipe, that formula, that type of DNA of player you're going to have to win in this tournament.
Everybody you got on your roster is good and capable.
Yeah.
How do you come about setting settling on a starting five, and when do you settle on a starting five? Like, do you already kind of have an idea in your head, kind of what the rotation is going to look like, or is it more of a feel thing? Once you start practicing, you see how the guys play off each other. Do you kind of make the determination then?
Yeah, a little bit of both. It's good that I'm familiar with a lot of these guys on the roster, just having coached them in the last several years and seeing them play. So I have a kind of an idea, but I don't know who's in shape, who's not in shape. You just never know who's going to come in ready to play. So, we kind of have an idea, but once we get those guys in there playing up tempo, 5-on-5, going through drills, then we'll have a much better feel of, who needs to go where and what pieces.
All right, as long as I got you, I do have to ask you about the current SU men's basketball team. And, we've seen Adrian Autry take over, and the last 3 months or so, we've talked a lot about it on the show, that the last 3 months have gone about as well as I think SU fans can expect with the portal and guys coming back and the way things are right now. And I know Red really well and GMAC and Griff. And what can you say about the job that Adrian Autry and his staff have done to this point, and I guess the excitement that there is around Syracuse basketball, heading into this new era?
Yeah, I think, they're doing a great job, obviously, recruiting. I think getting JJ Starling back and Judah back. I mean, if they're not the best backcourt in the country, then they're definitely one of the probably top 2 or top 3 backcourts in the country. So that in itself is exciting, having that guard play. But, they've done a good job of getting out. And Red's always had a great track record of recruiting players, so that's no surprise there. And obviously, McNamara and Griff, and they do a great job of establishing relationships with people and with families. And I think everyone's excited. Just a fresh start. Obviously, Coach Boeheim did so many wonderful things for Syracuse, and we're obviously going to miss him. But everyone's excited for this new era of under Red Autry, and they're going to do a great job.
All right, well said, Ryan. And listen, thanks so much for coming on. Best of luck as you get ready for another run here in the TBT. It all starts July 24th down at the War Memorial. Ryan, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Enjoy the next month or so, and we'll talk again soon, I'm sure, as you get ready for the TBT.
Thanks. Talk to you soon. Thanks for having me.
All right, Ryan Blackwell, head coach of Boeheim's Army. And with that, we'll hit a timeout. 315-437-7644 if you'd like to check in. Again, we'll dip live into John Wildhack's press conference coming up at 1 o'clock. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.